Apollonia.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Sheila E. was all over that thing, too?
Sheila E. I love her.
I know. I miss her. She used to come back, rock some drums.
I know. I love
Do
that
something,
female
girl.
power.
Here's your open invitation, Sheila E.
You are invited anytime.
Bring your bongos. We'll bang on those.
Yeah.
So I had Beverly Hills Cop on my list.
I forgot that one.
That had some bops.
It did.
Neutron Dance by the Pointer Sisters.
Oh, love the Pointer Sisters. Yes.
Yeah, and then, like I said, the Harold Faltermeyer with the Axl's theme. Dun, dun, dun. Basically, the whole album was...
it's very 80s, very
Pointer Sisters and Eddie Murphy
dance.
going...
It's a very dance popish
That was
soundtrack.
my mom's favorite actor.
Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
He's amazing.
That's how I found out about Beverly Hills Cop.
I love Eddie Murphy.
Another one on your list?
I think we talked about it a little bit in the beginning. Flashdance.
Oh, see, I didn't have that on mine.
Oh.
I don't think. Let me skim through here.
Okay, see if Flashdance made it on your list because...
No, I don't because I just thought maybe it was a little hokey.
No!
I'm wrong.
Irene Cara was on there. Laura Branigan, Kim Carnes, Michael Cimbello. Come on.
Okay, you did have some girl power on there. Oh, okay. Maniac. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Come on. There were a lot of hits.
Okay, so a forgotten favorite.
Yeah.
With Flashdance. I'll have to go back and listen to that.
You have to.
That might be on my What's in the Blender this week for next week.
Yes. Listen to Flashdance, the soundtrack.
Okay, so next on my list, because it's a cult classic, again, probably hands down one of my favorite films in my top 10, The Lost Boys.
I love Lost Boys.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's one of my favorite movies.
Dude, Kiefer Sutherland's so good in that one.
I have to give that a listen. I haven't listened to that soundtrack in forever.
You had NXS on there.
One of my favorite bands.
Yeah?
Yep, love NXS.
You dig you some Michael Hutchence?
Mm-hmm. I got to talk to his sister once.
What?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
She was talking about her brother and how he had passed away and all the music he had left behind. And very, very cool woman. And it was an interesting interview.
Was she older or younger than him?
I think she was older than him, yes.
So he was baby brother then?
Yeah.
Really was kind of tragic and sad, kind of the way things ended for him. He committed suicide.
Yes, it was accidental.
Which is really ironic, don't you think? That
Alanis.
Hey, Alanis. That they had a song, NXS, his band had a song called Suicide Blonde.
Yeah.
Really dig NXS, their whole vibe, their whole sound. I don't even think you could really duplicate that today.
Mm-mm. I haven't heard anyone that came close to trying to do that.
Or you'd be labeled
sound.
as like a copycat band.
Right.
Now, I'm sure there are like the NXS tribute bands out there. I'm sure there's some dude that looks like a cross between Michael Hutchence and Scott Stapp from Creed with long hair.
Mashed together into one.
And the guy from Nickelback.
Why not? Got their own.
Let's hope he sounds more like Michael Hutchence and less like Chad Kroeger.
Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to leave it right there.
Anyway, we got like in the weeds with Lost Boys, but seriously, incredible film, cult classic.
It is.
Dark at times, but just love that movie. And again, one of those soundtracks I think that enhances the film.
It does.
I think that if you didn't have the music, if you just had like the original score providing the background, the filler music to some of the scenes,
it would have changed the whole vibe of the movie.
Right. Almost a little bit mysterious. There's some mystique about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a vampire
maybe?
movie. Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's a vampire movie, so it's got to be mysterious.
Be mysterious.
Next on your list?
Okay, next on my list, I have Rocky.
Oh, okay.
Okay, my dad loves the Rocky movie. So when I was a kid, I would watch Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4 over and over and over. And the soundtrack is
that sort
amazing.
of why you are named what you're named?
I mean, it came close enough, right? I mean, I've been called Adrian before, and at first I didn't care for it, and then I was like, you know what? Adrian was a cool character. So Rocky's a great movie, great soundtrack. Call me Adrian if you want. Yo, Adrian!
Yo, Adriana!
I was at a Starbucks once. I don't remember what I ordered, and I told them my name was Adriana, and then I shortened it to Adri. And so I said, Adriana's my name, and I waited, and then they kept yelling out Adrian.
They still misspell it?
They kept yelling out Adrian, and I'm like, that's not for me. For a few minutes, Adrian, and then some guy goes, yo, Adrian! And I was like...
Just for that moment, you had to be there.
Everyone started laughing, and I was like, geez, that's not even my name, but whatever.
Okay, so I didn't have Rocky on my list, but I did see...
Survivor, Eye of the Tiger, come on, Jason!
Oh, no, I'm not like hating. Okay. I'm not debating it at all. Okay. I did see there were a few of our followers on Facebook, because when we put this poll out, again, we wanted to know what everyone's favorite 80s movie soundtrack was. And we're, again, at Under the Influence Music Pod on Instagram and Facebook, at UTI Music Pod on Twitter. And we asked people to give us your feedback. What's your favorite 80s film soundtrack?
There's a lot.
There were a couple Rocky fans.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Don't you want that to be your theme song? I mean, it's just so cool.
When you walk into a room, like that's what comes on.
Exactly.
Everybody needs a theme song.
We do.
So you're going with that.
I'm going to go with that.
So I had Footloose next on my list. And we talked about that already. Kenny Loggins produced and how if John Hughes is the king of the 80s teen flicks, then Loggins is the undisputed king of the soundtracks. And that was Kenny Loggins all over that one.
It really was. And I have to say, another one that I want to throw out there is I was really into the 80s breakdancing. I don't know if you would like that kind of thing, but there's a movie called Breakin'. And it is an amazing movie and soundtrack.
Right.
If you haven't seen it or have heard of it, please give it a listen, give it a watch.
I know we gave shouts to Rick Rubin in our last episode about the Beastie Boys because he produced License to Ill. Mm-hmm. So I think Rick Rubin had a little bit to do with Breakin', or at least was influenced by that sound that he went on to co-found Def Jam with Russell Simmons.
Yep, Shaka Khan is on the soundtrack. Amazing, love Shaka Khan. And so there's Ollie and Jerry, Ice-T.
Oh, I forgot about Ice-T for a second.
If you have not seen it or listened to it, you got to give it a listen.
See, I only think of Ice-T from like Law and Order, Special Victims Unit.
That's a different Ice-T than what I was watching, but
That's watered down Ice-T.
I like that.
It might be Sun T.
I love it, yes.
Crush Groove. I thought you were going to go there.
Crush Groove is good, but Breakin's better.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with it, yeah.
As far as soundtracks go?
Yes.
Okay, so Breakin' had the better soundtrack.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, in my opinion.
You might get some haters for that.
It's okay. Give it a listen. Let me know.
That's what we're here for. Send us that feedback. But going back to Footloose real quick. Let's hear it for the boy.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it for the boy.
The title track, Footloose. Almost Paradise. Like, I feel like that song is on every soft rock radio playlist.
You could not get away from that song.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember seeing when I was younger, I remember staying up to watch Beavis and Butthead on MTV.
Oh, yeah, I did
when
that
my parents
too.
would go to bed, I would sneak out in the living room. And eventually I got a TV in my own room.
Yeah.
And then I was able to just, turn the volume down so they couldn't hear all that.
Try not to laugh.
Cornholio. They couldn't hear all that, right?
Oh, gosh.
But I remember when Beavis and Butthead would go to commercial on MTV, it was always those late night infomercials of like
that's right. It was like some cheese ball, like, here, buy this 80s lover soundtrack.
Yeah, Time Magazine presents the Ultimate Lovers Anthology.
Yes.
And that was always the first song that was on there.
Almost Paradise.
Right? Like, what's this BS? You grow up and then you go back in time. You kind of get more into stuff from your era, like maybe things you forgot about in your childhood. We talked about that in our first episode.
Yes, absolutely. It's a good song.
And now I play it at weddings that I DJ.
See, it came full circle.
Comes back around. Mm-hmm. I also had Risky Business on my list.
I am not familiar with that soundtrack.
Tom Cruise in the movie.
I watched the movie, but I don't remember the music.
I do not remember that album.
I don't.
That soundtrack was incredible. Old Time Rock and Roll. Bob Seger.
Bob Seger, okay.
You can't forget about that scene. He's sliding across the living room in his tiny whities.
Of course. I remember that scene. But I don't remember what other songs were on that
When we first started this, before you said Dirty Dancing, and I guess Patrick Swayze, and you said you had posters on your wall, I thought you were going to go Tom Cruise from Risky Business just because my
parents did not want me to see that movie.
No.
He's dancing in his underwear and...
It does have some provocative
like
subject matter.
Older.
As far as...
Dirty Dancing's not that much different, but I don't know. I mean, it had its moments.
So Old Time Rock and Roll, Phil Collins in the Air Tonight?
Oh, that was in that movie?
Absolutely.
Huh.
After the Fall by Prince, which I guess we could jump into Purple Rain now if you want.
Yeah. Purple Rain. I mean, Prince was just he was an amazing actor. And when he was in that movie, I mean, you forgot it was Prince for a little bit. You're like, okay, well, he's acting in it and he's singing in it, and it was like one long video.
It really was.
I'm just so used to seeing him on MTV, but I love that movie. I love the soundtrack, and I think it's probably one of my top 5 for sure.
Somebody out there is going to watch Purple Rain for the first time, and they're probably going to be like, "Where's the part where he turns around and he's got the assless chaps?"
No, that's not the right. That's not it. No.
That came later. That was 90s Prince.
Yes, that's
That was Video Music Award Prince. Because he dominated those for a while.
Oh my gosh, he dominated the 80s, the 90s, even a little bit into the 2000s. So
yeah, like we said, Purple Rain can stand alone regardless if it's associated with a film or not.
Or not, yeah.
The album art.
Very cool.
Just him decked out in purple on the bike. Okay, this film is going to be incredible.
It's timeless.
This soundtrack is going to be amazing.
Yes.
Give me another one on your list.
Okay, I also had Back to the Future.
Yes!
I love Huey Lewis and the News and just...
Oh, man. What's not to love about the rockabilly jams on there, too? Like Johnny B. Good?
Yes! And Michael J. Fox sang that.
Yeah.
He was on it, so yeah.
And Huey Lewis, huge stand for him. Wish he'd be out and do something again.
I love Huey Lewis. I've never gotten to see them in concert.
Good actor, too.
Very good actor.
He ended up being in the movies. I don't know if he was ever in the Back to the Future sequels. That would have been awesome, though.
Oh, man. I love Huey.
Not only are you, like... contracted to do music for the film, but like in the second, third, fourth, 65th installment of Back to the Future, Huey Lewis becomes the new Doc Brown.
Why not?
Yeah.
I would buy it.
I'm on board for that.
I'll watch it.
Yeah. Great, like rockabilly jams, like I said, on Back to the Future. Huey Lewis and the News,
very
incredible.
Fun soundtrack.
Absolutely. It sounded like its time.
Yes. So 80s, such 80s.
1988.
It just makes you happy.
Right. Because the whole movie, for the most part, is fun.
From beginning to end. It's such a fun, cool movie.
So I had one on here that might throw people for a loop.
Okay.
But it's totally fitting.
Okay.
Not maybe a film, and certainly not a soundtrack that people might consider to be 80s, but it is. Actually, there's two. I'll give you the first one.
Okay.
The Big Chill.
The Big Chill. Who is in that?
Like everybody.
I can't remember.
You want me to hit the Google machine and give you a little synopsis?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Who is like one of the top stars in it?
From
what's his name?
IMDb.com. A once close-knit gang of friends, including an actor, JoBeth Williams, a doctor, Glenn Close, and her husband, Kevin Kline, a Vietnam veteran, William Hurt, and a journalist, Tom Berenger, meets for a weekend after the funeral of their much-envied friend, Alex, who committed suicide. The friends spend the weekend confronting the personal truths, sacrifices, and betrayals that have left them disenchanted. Each must contend with unresolved issues they have with Alex and with one another.
Okay, I don't think I've ever seen The Big Chill. I don't remember it.
Great movie.
I'm going to have to watch that this weekend.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack, you're vouching for it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Classic Motown and classic rock vibes.
Oh, I love Motown. Okay.
So Temptations.
Oh.
Smokey Robinson. Marvin Gaye's on there.
That's what I grew up on.
You had like Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, okay.
Steve Miller Band.
Really?
Beach Boys was on there. Rolling Stones.
What?
Yeah.
I can't believe I've never heard of this.
So this is going to be on your What's in the Blender this week for next week.
Yes, absolutely. I don't remember that movie.
Check out The Big Chill. Again, I think a lot of people forget that it was 1983, so it was early 80s.
Okay. I'm definitely writing that one down and checking it out. So, see, we're giving, the audience stuff that maybe they've never seen either. I don't remember seeing that movie.
We're like Pink Floyd. We don't need no education.
There's just so many. I mean, when you're talking about 80s movies and soundtracks, it just continues on and on and on. It's hard to pick your top.
All right, share another one off your list.
Okay, another one I wrote down was License to Drive.
Oh, I forgot about that. The two Corys, yes.
You got Billy Ocean. Get into my car.
Get out of my dreams.
Love that song. Love the two Corys.
Caribbean Queen.
Period. Yep. I mean, you have to, if you have not seen that movie, it is so funny.
That might be a fun.
It's a fun movie.
Vintage summer throwback album to throw on.
Yes.
Coming up.
We're almost getting to the summer.
All right, I'm writing that one down.
Okay.
License to Drive.
License to Drive. Billy Ocean's on the soundtrack. New Edition. Belinda Carlisle. It's solid.
Dang. Next, I had Pretty in Pink.
Oh, I had Pretty in Pink too. Yeah.
Lots of Britpop feels.
Yes.
You had like bands like New Order and the Smiths.
New Order. Yes.
You know who broke out from the Smiths?
Why can't I think of his name?
Morrissey.
Thank you.
There's a mystique about that guy.
That guy.
We might do an episode on Morrissey.
We need to do a podcast just on Morrissey alone. Yes.
He's very quiet.
He's an interesting guy.
But yeah, it was great in the Smiths. Psychedelic Furs, who I'm a huge fan of.
Love Psychedelic Furs, yes.
And then, of course, the film's theme song, which we were jamming on before we started the podcast.
So good. I put that on repeat.
I love the keyboard breakdown.
It's so 80s.